Once you've added students to your roster, using this button up here in the upper left-hand corner, you'll want to add sessions. Sessions are a way to describe how you've worked with students on different days during the school year. Now, we're not looking at August yet, we're still in July, but I'm going to skip ahead to August, and school starts this year on the 25th. So the first day I might work with this student is on the 25th. In order to add a session, I'm going to come up here to this right-hand menu and click the plus sign, which if you hover over it, it will tell you what the button is supposed to do. It's going to add a session. I want to click on the calendar first of all because I noticed that this is not when I'm working with the student. I am not working with the student in July. I am working with her in August. So I'm going to select the correct date. And you may not know at the beginning of the year, right, during in-service when you're going to work with them. But depending on the time of day that you have the student, you do want to adjust those times to as close as possible to when you're actually working with the student, because that will determine the total number of minutes each billing cycle that you spent working with them. So if I'm going to have the student, for example, during the first period of the day at the middle school level, I would want to start my day at 9 o'clock, and the end of the, it's telling me that that's not valid because my start time is before my end time. But the end of the first period of the day is approximately 9:45. I think depending on your school, it may be something weird, 9:48 or 9:51. Just get it as close, as close as possible within reason. You don't have to specify that you worked with her 48 minutes, 45 will work, or 50. You'll want to select the type of service that you're providing for the students. So up here in this this top drop-down menu, personal care is the option you want to select. Personal care. Adding a session description helps you sort through the sessions, especially if you work with different students throughout the day, or if you work with students multiple times throughout the day, with breaks in between. So for this, I might say this is the first period social studies. This is when I work with a student in first period. Just give it a title so that you'll know when you go back to it what it was that session was for, and it'll be easily recognizable as you have to post your sessions closer to billing time, what it was that you're posting. Now let's see, you'll also want to change the type of service that you're providing. Unless you are working with a student one-on-one, no other students are present, you're working in a group. Okay, now I only have one student in my roster, so I suppose it would be one-on-one, but I'm going to pretend for the purpose of this tutorial that I'm teaching a class, let's say 3 or 4 students maybe I'm working with at a time. So select all of those students, not just one, that you're working with during this specified time, 9 to 9:45, and then you'll click OK. If you need to adjust that, this button Select Students will open up that menu again, and you can select which students you're actually working with during that time, and then just click OK. If you'd like to create a session that lasts all year long on all school days, you can click Recurrence. Yes. Maybe this session happens every week on Mondays, or maybe it happens every day except for the weekends because that person or that student is in my class, Monday through Friday. You can tell it to end either after a specified number of occurrences. Maybe you work with that student for 2 weeks and then you move to a different group of students, or you can tell it to end by the last day of school. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to have this end by the first week, the end of the first week. You can opt to include sessions that are on non-school days, such as over Christmas vacation or spring break, but I'm not sure of a situation where that would be necessary unless perhaps you were doing work with the homebound program, in which case that may be something that you actually need to select. So then click apply. Oops, I forgot something. All right, so it says if it happens daily, how many days is it going to happen? Well, or it's going to happen every 1 day. There we go. So it will give you an error message if you do, like I just did, forget to fill in some of the information, some of the parameters for creating the session. So at this point, I have answered all of their questions here about my session. I am doing this service in a school. If for some reason you feel like you need to change that, verify with Marie Huey and the staff of the special education department that you do really need to change it, because it will show up in your Medicaid billing documents, which they need to submit in order to receive funding from that source. So just make sure that you're filling in the correct information. I think for most individuals, school will be the correct answer here. And then I'm going to click Save. And you'll see, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions were created because I told it to start on August 25th and then end on August 29th. So I'm going to save. And you can see 5 little boxes popped up. If I click on that, it will open up the session box. Now this is where you will go when you need to post a session. So I can't do that at this point because this session hasn't even happened yet. This session is happening on August 25th. But if you're sure that the student was present that day, they were not absent, then you would select present in session. And then there will be an option up here after this day has passed, or at the end of this time, at probably around 10 o'clock, it would show that you were able to post if you wanted to. There will be an option to save and post. Currently, though, there are no behaviors, no personal care activities selected. So what you can do is select, let's see, maybe she needs help with communication, with money management, and transportation between classes. If I want those to be the same behaviors that I use with the student throughout my sessions, all of them, then you'll notice that this button up here, it was gray, now it's highlighted, and I can save these behaviors for the entire set of sessions. Do I want to update this personal care information for her? Yes, I do. And then do I want to apply it to all future unposted sessions? Yeah, I want to apply it so that I don't have to fill in that information every single time. So this is for the 25th, and you can see the behaviors are already checked. If I go back to my calendar and I click on the 26th, I didn't have to check them. They have already been checked because I saved the behaviors from the very first day. So once these sessions have been submitted, which is a very simple process, and because of the timing for this video tutorial, I will have to just direct you to an MSB video tutorial that will show you how to submit your sessions. But once they've been submitted, you will start to generate your report for the specified time period, and that's what will be submitted to the special education department for the district, and that's the information that they'll need. But this is the part that you have to do beforehand. So create your sessions using your students. You may want a recurring session, and then posting those sessions, which, like I said, will be in a different video. That's all of the steps that need to take place before you can generate a report.